What is the good word? So today we have with us Anthony Sully Sullivan, who you might know as a pitchman from the days of OxiClean. And today Anthony is doing something completely different. I think he is a hemp farmer in the beautiful green state of Vermont. So Anthony, welcome to the Sales Made Easy show. And what is going on in your world, sir?
What's going on in my world? Well, it's I'm actually currently down in beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. I've been going back and forth to Vermont. There's about 2 feet of snow on the farm right now up in Vermont, so I'm obviously not there doing that. But we're busy growing Mont Kush. We've been 3 years in the business, which is a brand that I started after I was inspired by a journey that I've been taking with my daughter. And life is good. Life is good right now. Like I've been bringing you products on television for the best part of 30 years now. So it seems like yesterday when I started, but I'm still grinding away.
Oh my goodness. So, first of all, how's your daughter doing?
She's great. She's 11. I took her to school this morning. She was super happy. She goes to a school down in Lakewood Ranch for kids with special needs.
Okay.
Uh, she's going to be there till she's 21. It took us a while, her mom and I, to find a school, that for kids with issues like her. We found this great school started by two moms, and it's grown into it's basically a little school for kids up to the age of 21 with special needs, and none of the kids are neurotypical, and they're amazing. So we found a nice home for my daughter, and she's doing great. Thanks. I say a
Yeah.
nice home. Don't worry, she lives with
I
us.
get you. Yeah.
A good home as far as the school and education.
Yeah, that's awesome. My wife does work with some kids in a similar school. They can stay there until they're same age, 21, 22. And she's always coming home with great stories and, how special some of these kids are that, a lot of people just don't know about because they look away and they say that's not, too bad and so forth. But, the world is filled with all kinds of different people that make it a better place, I think.
Yeah, one of the things with my daughter that she's taught me, and I think she touches a lot of people in this respect. She just has this. She's very present, and she's very happy, and she has her own level of anxiety that she deals with. Because
Hmm.
she's. But for the most part, when a dog kind of wags their tail and they're happy to see you. If my daughter had a tail, it would wag a lot. She's one of those kids. She just seems to be very, very happy a lot of the time. So, and I don't think she's. I mean, I know she knows she has some struggles and issues, but she seems to be okay with it.
Right.
So I think sometimes my daughter has it better from like every day she wakes up and is having a good old day. So
Yeah.
it's great. Kids,
It's amazing. Yeah.
yeah, kids are great.
Right. The positive energy that comes from, kids that have special abilities, right? So it's really cool. Good for her. And so, what is it that you're doing these days? So you went from the pitchman to doing what you're doing now. So what is now?
Well, what happened? I've had a great career and continue to be very fulfilled in working with great inventions, bringing them to market, and I've had the fortunate, I've had the good fortune to be involved in the spokesperson for America's #1 laundry additive in OxiClean, which I've been with the brand for over 20 years, and during that time I got to work with Billy Mays, who passed away several years ago, my great friend, and also I'll use the word mentor as well.
Hmm.
And I've got to work in from a marketing standpoint, making commercials, working with brands like Nutrisystem, and working with quarterback NFL legend Dan Marino and country star Jesse James Decker, and also worked on some scrappy. I don't use the word scrappy with regard to the product, but brands that maybe didn't have the muscle behind them, like OxiClean or Nutrisystem,
Hmm.
or the startup direct response brands, which are a lot of fun that we would launch on the shopping channels, QVC or HSN, and then we would slowly bring those products to market. So, and with the advent of just digital advertising, from just TV was my medium, right? We would
Hmm.
test products out, and we would get them through home shows or through an inventor or through a fair, and then we would test them out in the shopping channels, and we would make these TV commercials and bring them to market. So I've had a lot of fun working with a lot of, crazy products, crazy inventors over the years. And, it's nice to walk into a Walmart and see the products that we started on the shelves, OxiClean being the biggest one. But about my daughter was born, she's 11 now. She just turned 11 in November. She's going to be a teenager soon, but she was born with a duplication of chromosome 1 and 13. And long story short, she was put on a pretty heavy medication to help manage some seizures that she developed when she was 7. Anyway, the side effects from the medication were horrible. They included she lost a significant part of her body weight. She was already skinny, and she literally all of a sudden was just like a bag of bones, and I saw that was and then she lost her personality. She was lethargic and tired all the time. So we started to look for alternative therapies, and we stumbled across CBD. And this was 4 years ago. And at first, my reaction to my daughter being medicated or using CBD as an alternative to a pharmaceutical, my reaction was pretty much a hard no, because I was uneducated and ill-informed. I was just familiar with the recreational use of the cannabis plant. Anyway, did a little research and we had amazing results with initial trials. And I found myself, I wanted to do a little bit more research, and I went up to a hemp farm up in Vermont in the harvest time of 2019 or 2018 actually. And I walked into the farm, and I thought and it was a beautiful day, a beautiful Vermont day. And I was near Burlington in a place called Heinsberg. And I walked into this field, and it was filled with hemp plants, high CBD hemp plants. And they were about 6 feet high. And I thought to myself, this is the plant that's helping my daughter. I want to be in this business. I want to, make a CBD product that is really, really top of the line, top shelf, pure as we could make it, and do it for my daughter. And, also apply some of my experience from marketing and say, we'll try something completely different. And I've always loved products that solve a common problem. And in this case, what my daughter had was not a common problem, but it's a problem that's out there, and most people go to pharmaceuticals. And I just thought for the next chapter of my life, I'll have a go at farming and see if I can grow hemp, see if I can figure out how to extract the CBD and make a really good product. So I bought a farm up in Vermont, 116 acres, and we planted 66,000 seeds. 6,000, so a lot of seeds. They fitted in 3
Were you much of a farmer prior to this?
No, I'd never farmed it.
You didn't grow up on a farm, nothing. I'm just gonna,
I grew up there next to, no, I wasn't, but I do believe with passion and persistence, and capital, that we would persevere. And it was terrifying. It was a terrifying prospect when we actually went in. It wasn't just me alone. We had a team of us up there in Vermont doing it, and I left the relative comfort, if you will, of making TV commercials and bringing these products to people to actually growing a medicinal plant and figuring it out. But we did it, and I'm really proud. We have a finished product. It's called Mont Kush, MONTKUSH, and the Mont. And there's a story behind all this. Obviously, my daughter is our true north.
Yeah.
Mont is French for mountain, and it was also in Vermont, the latter part of the word Vermont. And our farm is on the side of a mountain. So there's the Mont. And Kush was a shout out to the genetics, which are from the Himalayan, the foothills of the Himalayas, which is where the genetics really kind of came from. So Mont Kush, and we found out that Kush in Hindi, in Indian, means happy. So our brand actually means happy mountain, and we have a really, really top shelf lineup of products that are USDA certified organic. And I'm really proud of Mont Kush because we did everything from the ground up. Even in the world of the as seen on TV world, we would outsource our manufacturing, right, to a manufacturer, and a lot of the times it'd be overseas. It could be Vietnam, it could be China. We could manufacture in America sometimes, maybe manufacture in Europe. But this project was like grown in Vermont. There is nothing about it that isn't, you know, we were growing a plant out of the ground and figuring out how to extract it and figuring out how to dry it and working with Mother Nature. And every time it got difficult, I just like get deep down and go, right, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Why? And it was for my daughter and other people like it. And our products have got 5-star reviews. And I think a lot of people are surprised, right? Because they know me from OxiClean. Kind of, what is the OxiClean guy doing farming? But yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been up to.
Wow, what a great story. So, why Vermont of all places? It seems like that wouldn't have a very long, especially northern Vermont. I mean, the growing season is what, like 3 weeks or what?
Well, no, it does. So yeah, they do say in Vermont, if you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes and you get to change the weather. Vermont's hemp laws were very, very progressive, and they were one of the first states after the Farm Bill passed in 2018. They were a very early adopter of the hemp growing, of growing hemp, which was great. Kentucky was another one, and the Colorado, obviously, and Washington State and Oregon. But the reason we went to Vermont, I'll be completely honest, is I felt comfortable up there. We met the first hemp farmer that I met was actually in Heinsberg, and he was super friendly, and he agreed to help us. He thought I was crazy. He told me right away, "You do not want to do this, but if you're going to do it, I'll help you." And the genetics that we used, the seeds, the plants that we grew were actually bred to grow at that latitude at 45 degrees north. So Oregon is on a very similar latitude to give or take a couple degrees. And of course, they're light sensitive. So I felt comfortable up in Vermont. I loved it up there. It's a great place. It's absolutely beautiful. And believe it or not, the window for growing it is short. But the plants, basically, we put them in the ground in April, and they're ready to pick at the end of August. What they do in 90 days is incredible. They start off with little tiny seedlings. You know, you can put them, you know, on your thumbnail. They're literally the size of a thumbnail when they pop out of the ground. And within 90 days, they're over 6 feet tall.
That's crazy. Yeah.
It's incredible. But they don't call it weed for nothing, let me tell you.
They don't call it what for nothing?
They don't call it weed for nothing.
Oh, okay.
So of course, we're growing genetics that are below 0.3%. So, and THC levels, so they've no psychoactive component to it. There's a lot of we're going after wellness. We're going after healthy, not high. And it's been I loved Vermont, and I love Vermont because you feel, it's mountains, it's rural, it's farmland. The people are really friendly to us. We've got a great community. A place called Plainfield is where we're located. So that was really, it just felt right. It just felt right growing it up there.
That's awesome. Yeah, Vermont's a beautiful state. And if you've never been, for those who are listening, the best time to go is in early October if you want to see some very vivid colors on maple trees. It's just absolutely stunning.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So, all right. So now you've been doing this growing weed. I mean, I shouldn't say it like that, right? But you did. Right. So it's the best weed around. What separates, so how do you say that, right? That it's better than everyone else's? I mean, what makes it unique?
So there's many genetics, and you can go on, you can look around at hemp. So we picked a couple of strains. One was Suva Haze, was the strain we grew a lot of. Another strain called Lifter, and we bought these strains, these seeds, and I was new at it, so we learned a lot about it, and we realized early on that a USDA organic certification was something that would benefit us. So we went down that road, and at the time, it's hard to get a USDA organic certification. That's it's a badge of honor that we can wear. So we started using organic farming practices, and we were able to get the farm certified organic. And then we had to find an extraction process that was legitimately something that we could stamp the USDA organic seal of approval on. And we landed on an extraction process that involved a big press. And this, I think, is where that Kush, all of a sudden, I was like, all right, this is where we can take Mont Kush, and we can say this is better than everyone else's. And I'll explain it to you in kind of simple terms. When
Sure.
you take the top of a hemp plant, the top part of it, about the top 8-10 inches, is the flower, and in that flower is the high potency pure CBD, and it exists inside the plant. It's called CBDA. That's how it exists in the plant. So the question is, how do you extract it out of this flower? And if you've ever seen a hemp flower or a cannabis flower, it's not like a rose petal. It's a very complex, beautiful looking, very pungent. They call them colas. And there's a couple ways to extract the CBD from the flowers. And the two most popular ways, one uses CO2 and the other uses ethanol. And they're very, very harsh on the plant. And some use high temperature, some use extreme cold temperatures, and they use gas and chemicals. And what happens is it actually, it causes the CBD, the A to vanish. It metabolizes, for lack of a better word, with the heat. So you lose the A. So we did a lot of research, and I don't want to say we stumbled on, like anything, you do enough research, right? You turn over enough leaves, find something. We found a company in California that was pressing cannabis in the cannabis space for recreational cannabis. And we thought, and they were making a substance called rosin. And we thought, well, we could maybe apply the same technique to the hemp plant. So we took a bit of a gamble. We went out to visit them, and we asked them to build us a 200-ton press, about 400,000 pounds of pressure. We bought the press, and they assured us that it should work. So we invested.
Assured and should. Okay.
Well, yeah, they were, because no one was really doing it, because, growing hemp was illegal for such a long period of time. So there was no real mechanization of farming or extraction until very recently. So anyway, we bought this press, and we went ahead and pressed our flour, and we were able to extract, we put about 2.2 pounds of flour in at a time, which is about a kilo. And we were able to get this beautiful rosin. And because we use low temperature and no chemicals, we call it solventless extraction. We were able to maintain pretty much, it was almost like getting a fingerprint of the plant. And our rosin has been really, really well received. So when you buy Mont Kush CBD, it's basically the rosin as it's squeezed out of the flower, just like orange juice, fresh squeezed, just like fresh squeezed orange juice is squeezed from an orange. And in that, we're able to maintain the integrity of the plant. We mix it with a carrier oil, which is fractionated organic coconut oil, and a little natural flavoring for mint. And that's about it. And it's very, very pure. And we get really, really good reviews from our customers. We're able to maintain the terpenes, the bioflavonoids, the vitamins, the minerals, and most of all, the CBDA in its purest form, which has been great for us as a farm and a brand. And so that's how we were able to differentiate ourselves. It's very difficult to get the rosin that we got out of the plant. No one else did it. It's a very slow, meticulous, labor-intensive process.
So the rosin is actually liquid. It's like squeezing grapes, basically. If I could simplify.
If you were to turn the rosin over, if you had a jar of rosin, a mason jar, and turned it upside down, you'd have to come back about 5 years later before it actually made its way out of the jar. That's how thick it is.
Wow.
It's really, really thick. But it is, he says, if you warm it up a little bit, it will move it's like a treacle. If you're familiar with, if you know what treacle is.
No, I've never heard of it.
Oh, treacle.
But I'm thinking it's like coconut oil, because it's like solid, and then when you warm,
thick honey.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. So now, just where is this stuff available for the consumer, or do you need prescriptions, or what's the deal with that?
No prescription. We just did our website's been up and running for just over 12 months now. It took us about a year before we felt confident enough that we actually had a finished product that we thought would be good enough to launch and was pure enough. My daughter was our first customer, Devin. I was our second. Well, actually, I tried it first, but I did it for my daughter. Montkush.com, MONTKUSH.com is the website, and we have a variety. Our number one seller is our CBDA tinctures, the little oil tinctures, but we also have gummies and soft gels. and a variety of products on there. And we have promotions all the time, but our website is the easiest place to get it. It's not prescription. You don't need a prescription. And like I said, there's no psychoactive component to this. And we have people purchasing it for, believe it or not, the pain is our number one. I felt that sleep and anxiety were what I use it for, to naturally help with that. But we get more and more of our customers say they use it to help relieve pain, which is great. It's great to be, an alternative of nature's, a plant-based alternative to medications that people take to manage certain symptoms. So, so it's great. It's been a lot of fun so far.
Like pains like for opiates that people would take, for instance? I mean, is it that type of...
We have. I mean, it's no secret that the opioid epidemic has been devastating to, communities all across the country. So when we do have a lot of people that have said they've helped substitute their, opiates with CBD and in particular Mount Kush. But, once again, I have to be a little bit careful what I say because I don't want to, but I encourage people to do research, check out our site, read the reviews, obviously consult with a doctor or a healthcare professional. If you, I don't want you to go, hey, I'm going to try this and go off my medication. So, but I can talk to my own experience. My daughter was on a pharmaceutical that had devastating side effects to her, and we were able to manage it, using Mount Kush rosin. So it's been good for me, and it's great to be part of this. I think more and more research is being done each day, and I think we're starting to move in a society where there's always going to be a place for pharmaceuticals. Always, it's never going to go away. But I think that the plant-based wellness is obviously over history, go back through history,
right?
But I think it's nice to have the option to look at both and find what's right for you. And I think for me, if I can find a plant-based alternative to something, that's what I want to use.
Yeah, I like it. So how does the former pitchman, or are you still pitching
pitching OxiClean gets the tough stains out?
Yeah. Okay. Good. So are you doing the same with Mount Kush?
It's a different. It's funny you say that actually, because I've given it a lot of thought. I don't think this is something where I can come out of the gate and just be like Anthony Sullivan here for Mount Kush, because this is a different. I'm sorry, the phone. It's ringing in. This is, when you look at a product like OxiClean, it's it's a laundry additive detergent. We use it as a stain remover. And there's an excitement and a cadence to that style of pitching. It's fun, right? You're doing it, getting stains out. And I think with a lot of products, there's a different approach to it. The thing that's really important to me is the authenticity. And the fact, does this product do a great job? OxiClean is, to this day, I was using it last night on a pair of white pants. I took my daughter out and I got them and I soaked it a couple of times. OxiClean is a great product and it works. And the price is right, the pitch is right. And there's a way that the OxiClean is presented and the way that it's pitched and the way that it's sold. And OxiClean is a 22-year-old brand. 22, 23 years old, but probably 25 now total since the inception of it. Then you take a brand like Swivel Sweeper, the Swivel Sweeper was a little $39.95, cordless electric sweeper. And it was a lot of fun that it picked up basically cat hair, dog hair, your hair, my hair. That was the cadence of the pitch. 2 easy payments of $19.99. And then, you switch to Nutrisystem, which is another brand I work with. It's weight loss. And there's a different approach to weight loss, right? People want to see before and afters. They want to know that the food they're eating is going to taste good. They want to eat the food, you lose the weight. There's a way to approach that. And Mount Kush ultimately is, at the moment, we have an ingestible line and a topical line, but people are using it to ingest as a wellness product. So I don't know if just sitting here going, have you got pain? Then you need Mount Kush. Have you got... It's a different.
It would cheapen it, I would think.
Yeah.
Based on the seriousness of the product, right?
It's a serious undertaking. I don't take anything that I would give to my daughter lightly. I think it's a very, very serious thing. So it has challenged me in new ways. And one of the reasons I think it's been really important for me as a dad and it's just as a human being is to make them. I wanted to make sure that Mount Kush was authentic, and the easiest thing for me to do would have been just to white label a product. I could have gone to a contract manufacturer and white labeled it. And I thought to myself, firstly, I want to make a great product for my kid. And I thought, I may come under scrutiny. People may go, it's Anthony Sully. Oh my God, it's the OxiClean guy. He's just putting his name on this. So by owning a farm and doing it properly and being involved in every step of the process, from buying the seeds to buying the land to planting the seeds in the little trays, to germinating the seeds, to taking the seeds when they're 12-inch seedlings and putting them in the ground, for caring and tending to them with the help of other people and locals in Vermont, and then pulling them out of the ground at the end of the harvest, which is, I remember, it's quite an emotional thing to grow this plant and being involved. Oh my God, yeah. Being involved in the whole process and having a finished product, it's just made it very, very real to me, and something that's really important. And then every time I look at a bottle of Mount Kush, I know how much work went into it. And to be honest, even with OxiClean, I mean, I laugh about it now because OxiClean is a mature brand that is, people know and they trust and they love it. But we did a lot of work in the early days when people didn't know what OxiClean was, right? A lot of people didn't know. We had to get out there and beat that drum and show people and do the show and tell. And it didn't happen overnight. It took 5, 6, 7 years before people were like, oh my God, OxiClean. And Billy Mays was he was the guy. But, it took Billy a long time. So I think we live in a world where, all of a sudden things just blow up, right? But if you peel, they look like they blow up. But if you peel back the curtain a little bit, you're like, oh my God, these people were working on this for a long time. These musicians, they were an overnight success. Most overnight successes are not overnight successes. There's 10,000 hours and 10 years of work went into the overnight success,
So true. Can I ask how you found the whole becoming a pitch person? How you came across that? I'm just fascinated that people with amazing voices get that.
I was at a bit of a loose end in my early 20s. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with my life, and I was thinking about going back to college. And I was taking care of a friend's market stall, and in England, a flea market, and he had a speeding ticket, and I was just taking care of it. And I ended up meeting this guy who he was opposite me. And he was selling this product called the Amazing Washmatic. And I was mesmerized by the pitch. And I was opposite him all day. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the day, I counted how many he sold, and I knew his pitch. I had listened to it like 50 times or 100 times. And I just remember watching him and going, and so I asked him, like, what's the magic? How do you make this product? I said, I've been watching this pitch and it's amazing. Anyway, I said, listen, I'd like you to teach me this. I think I would be good at it. Anyway, at first he was reluctant to teach me, but he said, go away, learn the pitch. When you know the pitch, come back. So I wrote it down, and I spent about a week rehearsing it in front of the mirror. My roommates thought I'd gone crazy. Mm-hmm. And I went back, and he hired me on a commission basis to go and sell these car washes. And I to this day, I love that car wash. It's called the Amazing Washmatic. And I could go up in front of people, and I would do my patter, and it would just sell. And I loved it. It was sort of like, I think it was the performance aspect to it. Like, I enjoyed the performance of getting up in front of a crowd of people and actually pitching. And the pitch was this beautiful, I love the pitch because it worked. And I've studied it now, and it's that when you watch a pitch, and there's people who ramble on about trying to sell you something, mm-hmm. and then there's people who give you a really good pitch, and when you're getting a good pitch, because you're like, and sometimes people will come up to me and give me money and say, you know what, I just bought this because you were good. They're like, you entertain me, and the pitch was entertaining, it was funny, it was educational. It was a great deal. And people come up and go, you know what? You just had me. You were just good. Right. I don't even want the bloody thing, but I'll buy it off you. And there was a psychological thing happening. People would literally come and go, I have no idea what I'm buying, but you are just, everyone else is buying one and I want to have one. And it fascinated me and I really loved it. And so I'd find these products and I would find a pitch. Anyway, I would go all over the country, all over England, and my parents thought I was crazy. They thought I should go to college. And I was in London, Birmingham, Bristol, Cardiff. I worked Hackney. I mean, all over the place. Underneath Waterloo Bridge in London. And I just love the art of the pitch. And I would study these old pitchmen. And I came to America and I met Billy Mays. And then I was in Florida one day and I got spotted to be on HSN. And I always wanted, when I came to America, I had seen my first infomercial, and I remember saying to my friends, I need to be on TV. I'm like, this whole market trading thing is getting old, because it was tiring and my throat would hurt, and I'd be working in the rain and have to drive for miles and miles in between each fair, sleeping in the back of my van. So the TV always felt like, that's what I managed to get on TV in my early 20s after being in America for about 18 months. And it was life-changing. I will never forget the first time I was on TV. It was like going from playing Little League to walking out, at Yankee Stadium and in front of thousands of people. And when I went on at HSN, back in the early 90s, I remember going on and I sold 5,000 mops in 20 minutes. This is called the Super Chamois mop. It became known as the Smart Mop, and we sold 12 million of them. But I remember...
Did you make a lot of that money, or did a lot of that go to you?
Some of it went to me. Some of it, I was young and stupid and I didn't, as things I would have done differently. But I've been very fortunate on a financial level. And what I really loved about it was... we shared a lot of I made a lot of other people money. I made money for myself, my family. I've worked with people like Billy Mays. And I will say, we did it. Did we do it for the money? Yeah, we liked making money, but I always loved the buzz, that feeling of when you go on the air and live sell, couple $100,000 worth of product. It was like, man, it was just a turn on. You see, like there used to be a TV at HSN and you could see the sales. Right. And sometimes before you would go on, there'd be no one on, and all of a sudden the graph would go up, and Billy Mays would go on, and then I would go on, and we'd battle to see who could actually sell the most. So, the money was, but it wasn't everything. It was just, right, who can sell the most, I got my brother roped into it. I've made some great friends along the way. So
what did your parents finally think of you my
mom was devastated when I decided to become a market carny. She's like, you're going to be a bloody carny. But when I got on television, my son's on TV. She was like, my son's on television.
My carny son's on TV. He's on the telly.
She said, I always supported you, but she did not like when I was, my father passed away. My father loved it, actually. My father would come and he would watch me, and he was always like, I can't believe how much you sell. He didn't care. My dad thought he would come. My mom's, I love you, Mom. She's a bit of a snob. And she's like, but once I got on TV, she thought it was great. And my mom is my biggest fan right now. She's always like, what's the newest product? Why haven't seen you on TV? Why aren't you on TV? So
she sounds like Julia Child.
I've actually put my mom on TV. I finally got my mom. She's been in a couple of, like Dave Letterman's mom. I grabbed my mom and I've thrown her on TV a couple of times. So she loves it.
Oh, that's great. So what's the big lesson that you got out of doing that you're going to say going forward, now that I have to sell this? Is there lessons in there, values that you're taking away, or you're just kind of starting all over and from scratch?
The fundamentals haven't changed. You got to have a great product. You really want to have to believe in that product, and it may take you a little while to fine tune it. And there's been days when I've had $0 sales. And even in the hemp business, it's been a completely new business, and I've had a lot of challenges to overcome. And I had to go back and when you know, we can't launch Mont Kush on television like we could with the other products because CBD is very difficult to advertise. So that's been a challenge. But I remember, like, you know, being passionate about the product, loving the product, making sure you got the right price, making sure that the pitch is right. And there were days in the early days of my career when I had $0 days. I forgot about them, because the days when we had the big blowout days, they overshadow. There's such great days, but for all the suffering that you have as an entrepreneur, you forget about the day when you're sleeping in the back of the van and you're rubbing two nickels together and you're freezing cold and you're working at Highbridge Market in Somerset in England, and it was so cold outside that the water froze in the car wash, and I couldn't even work because my hands were blue. Oh. And I forgot about those days, and I think when we started Mont Kush, there's a lot of learnings, you know, and you're learning in a completely new industry. And I think the tenacity and staying in the saddle and managing your expectations, and it's really easy to get caught up these days in this instant success. Like, why isn't it happening now? I want it now. I want it. Right. I want it now. And it's I think it like anything, it just takes time, and it takes patience, and it takes tenacity, and it's not for everybody. And I read something the other day, and that someone said a piece of advice to me was stay in the saddle. And I think it's so important, just to stay, no matter what, don't get thrown.
I love it.
Stay in the saddle, no matter what that horse is trying to do to you. Like, not let go. And there's days when you just don't think you're going to make it for whatever reason, whether it's an employee issue, whether it's a marketing issue, it's a manufacturing issue, whether it's a formulation issue, it's customs, it's tariffs, it's the price of containers, your Porsche and your container, you know, sets fire, and your container ship sets fire. There's, you know, Russia invades you, whatever. There's always something, right? Like the minute one hurdle, just stay in the saddle. Stay in the saddle.
Oh my goodness. It sounds like tons of stories in there in just a few short years. So I'm going to my thinking on this is, and you tell me if I'm wrong, this product I want to buy because of your story with your daughter.
Thank you.
Right? So I think it's that story, right? Your why as to why you're doing this is what's really going to separate you from anyone else. And people are going to say, you know, I like this guy, I love his passion, but I love that story. So what do you think about that? Am I wrong?
I think the why is important. In the why, people do look at, you know, why is this person doing this? And I think the why on this one with my daughter, I can't think of another, you know, anything. I could be more passionate about helping my kid and helping other kids like her. And I think I've had a lot of fun over the years, and people may look at me and go, oh, you know, we know Sully from TV, but this is, the why on this one is really special. And I went a little deeper. I mean, I had to go deep on this one. I mean, I'd never farmed before. I picked up I moved up to Vermont, back and forth up to Vermont for 2 years back in 19 and 20, and still going back and forth. And, you know, I was completely fish out of water. And I think in that is we've done something really, really beautiful. And I encourage people to do their research, and I welcome it. I love, you know, new customers. I love getting 5-star reviews, but the why, yeah, I mean, it's my kid, right? I love my kid. Do anything.
It's freaking beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it's not cheap. I mean, it's a valuable, much more valuable than a pitch could ever be.
Thank you.
Right? When you get to tell that story in front of a board, in front of anybody, there's my dogs. It's just a beautiful story. Right? And I love it. So where can you mentioned where people can find you, but any final thoughts there, Tony? I gotta put myself on mute. Anthony, sorry.
If you're listening to this and you've been interested about CBD, and maybe you've have interested in it, you haven't had a great experience, or you want to know more, check us out at montkush.com. It's MONTKUSH, MONTKUSH.com. We're on Instagram and all the social media channels under Mont Kush. We have a TV show that's on Tubi, TUBI, looking at Kings of Kush. We shot a show around my daughter and the journey of Mont Kush and my struggles, and the struggles us as a farmer and everything. But yeah, check us out, monkush.com. And we have a code that I'll give you, a code that you can give to your listeners and viewers. And we'll put the code on the website so you can save a few bucks. And, if you want to, I'll tell you right now, if you're going to try CBD, try Mont Kush. It's we're USDA certified organic. Like you just said, the why on this is really something else. And we have a product that is, I like to say it's top of the line, top shelf. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna put it in your body before it goes into your daughter's body, I'm trying it. So,
Thank you. I'll send you some. Shoot me a text, and I'll pop a care package in the mail for you. All right.
I love it. See, that's what I was going for.
That's all right. No problem. I'll make it happen.
Anthony Sully Sullivan, the pitchman turned hemp farmer. Really special speaking with you today. So I wish you all the success in the world and so many great lessons here. So it was really a blessing having you on the Sales Made Easy podcast.
Thanks very much. Stay in the saddle and don't remember. Stay in the saddle and don't forget OxiClean gets the tough stains out.
Oh man, thank you. I need some.